I recently had my cousins over for Thanksgiving, and after spending 5 hours playing Monopoly with them, I realized that the New York State Board of Education had completely failed us. At one point during the game, one of my cousins took out her phone, opened up the calculator app, and typed in 10 times 10 after I landed on Waterworks. I then gave her a $500 bill because I ran out of hundreds, and after she complained to the bank that I was quote unquote making things difficult, she pulled out her phone again and typed in 500 minus 100. And it was at that moment that I realized that technology had officially won and we were collectively fucked as a species. And for that reason, in today's episode of Business Explained, I'll be discussing the problem with AI and how it's negatively impacting our brains and society as a whole. A lot of people think that ChatGPT is here to help humanity, but much like the creation of the first atomic bomb, artificial intelligence has exploded onto the scene and taken the lives of countless computer science majors. If you were to ask Reddit if there's any point in working in computer science anymore, the general consensus is that you're better off doing literally anything else. And if you were to ask ChatGPT the same question, it will probably agree, considering it's already doing your homework, your job, and probably your future marriage too. But this isn't exclusive to computer science. Other fields like data entry, bookkeeping, and content creation have already been infiltrated by AI. The Kirkification of famous internet memes and videos of cats with abnormally large biceps have taken over Instagram and TikTok. At this rate, artificial intelligence won't just replace your job, it'll also replace your personality, which, let's be honest, has been long overdue. The second issue with AI is that it can generate misinformation so fast, it makes conspiracy theorists look like underachievers. For example, if it weren't for the Sora 2 watermark on this video, I would have actually believed Jake Paul was coming out as a homosexual. But unfortunately, Jake denied the allegation, claiming that he's currently straight and not planning to change his sexuality anytime soon, which is a huge loss for the LGBTQ community, considering Jake likes to hug men for a living. AI doesn't just distort reality, it personalizes the distortion so you can enjoy it. The result is a society where people argue nonstop about things that never even happened. The more misinformation spreads, the harder it becomes for anyone to know what's true, which is ultimately the point. If everyone's confused, no one can fix anything. And if no one can fix anything, we'll be relying on the same technology that made everyone believe that Jake Paul was gay. And since artificial intelligence learns more about you with every search, click, and swipe, it heavily relies on your privacy and data to keep things running smoothly. Thanks to AI, targeted ads, video recommendations, and music suggestions are getting creepily accurate, to the point where you start wondering if your phone knows you better than you know yourself. Sometimes it even feels like it's listening to your conversations. I remember one time I was talking to a friend about wanting to buy a microphone to start making videos. This was way before I started making YouTube, and then I got an ad for a Blue Yeti microphone on some random website, and I remember thinking, that's weird, why did Safari suggest me this? Granted, it was actually pretty helpful considering I knew nothing about microphones, and I did end up buying a Blue Yeti Snowball and recorded my first couple of videos with it. But still, can you at least make it seem like I have freedom of privacy? You know what I'm talking about? Like, I know I'm being spied on 24/7 and shit, but can you make me the favor of not being too obvious? Like, like at least have some fucking human decency, you know? It's been proven that artificial intelligence is contributing to humanity's cognitive decline. High schoolers can no longer write essays or solve problems without using Google Gemini or ChatGPT. Now you might be thinking that I care about this new generation of kids and that I made this episode to highlight the cons of AI, which I did, don't get me wrong. But in all honesty, I'm jealous. I'm jealous that I didn't grow up with AI and that I had to raw dog 10-page essays about topics I didn't give a shit about. Like having to explain the deeper meaning behind Frankenstein, or having to find the cosine and log of a triangle with Down syndrome, when I could have just taken a photo and asked ChatGPT to solve it for me. But at the same time, I've realized that school wasn't just designed to teach us things that seem pointless, no pun intended. Its main function was to teach us about how to actually use our brains. But with AI, that is no longer necessary. And that is the biggest problem with artificial intelligence. And with that being said, I'm out.